Then about the acid, which is having the definition of acid, which says that an acid is a substance which has H plus ions. Okay, then we have started about the chemical, then we move to the chemical properties of an acid. Under a chemical properties, we have studied about the reaction of acid with the metal, with the carbonates, bicarbonates, and the neutralization reaction. Then about the bases, weak acid and a strong acid. A strong acid will be having a higher concentration of H plus ion, or it dissociates, or it undergoes complete cleavage to give a more concentration of, or 100% dissociation will be taking place. And a weak acid is a one which is having lesser concentration of H plus ion, and the dissociation will be to the lesser extent. Then about the bases, bases are the one which is having bitter taste, and the litmus paper to be used there is a red litmus paper, which will convert it into blue when it is dipped into a base. And then about the definition of base, which says that a base is a substance which gives OH minus ion when it is dissolved in water. Then about the salts, we have learned, before that we have learned about the pH. So pH is a scale which will be used to determine the acidity or the strength of acid and a strength of the base, like whether it is a strong acid, weak acid, strong base, weak base, that we can that we can study, or that will be decided by using a universal indicator. Then after the universal indicator, we have learned about the range of the pH, that is from 0 to 14. In the 0 to 14, lower pH value, that is up to 7. From 0, it is called acidic, and 7 is called a neutral pH, and above 7, it is called basic pH. Then we have studied about the salts. There are 3 types of salts which can be formed. The salts are usually formed by the neutralization of, or the reaction between the acid and base. When we use a strong acid, strong base, it will be a salt having a neutral pH value. And when we use a strong acid and a weak base, it will be a salt having a pH value less than 7. And when we use a strong base and a weak acid, then the pH value will be more than 7. So till that we have studied, correct? We'll continue the next part then. Okay, so next under this chapter, we need to study about some of the compounds of some of the important compounds we need to study. Okay, so which are all the important compound? The first compound which we are going to concentrate is about the common salt. The common salt is the table salt which will be used, which is called sodium chloride. So we all know from where we get the sodium chloride, correct? Which is a main source of sodium chloride? From where we'll get a salt? Seawater. So seawater is having so many minerals in it, or so many kinds of salt in it. From that we are extracting only the common salt, that is sodium chloride. So how we can obtain the common salt? So the raw material for a the sodium chloride is a common salt, which is a very important raw material for a various daily use, such as sodium hydroxide, baking soda, washing soda, bleaching powder. So these are all the compounds which are prepared from common salt. So the common salt is a very important raw material because the common salt is used in the preparation of sodium hydroxide, in the preparation of baking soda. The sodium hydroxide is required in a soap. Baking soda will be used for a cooking purpose. Washing soda will be used for a again for in the form of detergent or a washing purpose, and a bleaching powder which will be used for a cleansing, or it is act as a cleansing agent. So this common salt, how we can prepare? The common salt we can be prepared from the seawater. The seawater will be collected and it will be subjected to the evaporation process. So in the evaporation process, leaving behind the sodium chloride, or we'll extract the sodium chloride. So from that sodium chloride, now we are preparing one more important chemical, that is called sodium hydroxide. So how we can prepare the sodium hydroxide from sodium chloride? So first what we have to do is electricity. Using the electricity, we can prepare the sodium hydroxide. So electricity is passed through the aqueous solution of sodium chloride, which is also called as a brine solution, and it decomposes to form a sodium hydroxide. So how it will be formed? So sodium chloride, aqueous form to get sodium hydroxide and chlorine gas. Okay, so this is the process called electrolysis process. So we are carrying out a preparation of sodium hydroxide by passing electricity, and that process is called electrolysis. In that electrolysis, we are taking a container in which two metal rods will be dipped into it. One of the metal rod is connected to a positive terminal of the battery, and one more is connected to a negative terminal of the battery. The electrode or a metal which is connected to a positive terminal of the battery is called anode, and the metal strip which is connected to a negative terminal of the battery is called cathode. And when an electricity is supplied, these metals, we call it as electrode. So we are taking an electrode and we are dipping that electrode in an aqueous solution of sodium hydroxide. Aqueous solution means the salt of sodium chloride will be dissolved in water. It becomes aqueous solution. And to this, we have to supply the electricity. When we supply the electricity, the sodium chloride will undergo ionization and it will produce Na plus and Cl minus. At the same time, water also undergoes ionization, or it undergoes splitting to give H plus and OH minus ion. So Na plus from sodium chloride combines with the OH minus from the water molecule and forms a sodium hydroxide, which remains in the solution form. Whereas the chlorine, which will undergoes ionization to Cl minus ion, will move towards the positively charged electrode, because negative ions will be attracted towards the positive electrode. So chloride ion from the mixture moves towards the positive electrode and liberated as a chlorine gas. And the H plus ion which is formed from water molecule, that is positively charged ion, which move towards the negative electrode, and there it will be liberated in the form of hydrogen gas. So we take a sodium chloride in an aqueous form by dissolving in a water, and we are supplying the electricity. When we supply the electricity, the sodium hydroxide will be collected in the container in a liquid form, whereas the chlorine gas will be liberated at the anode, because the chloride is a negative ion which will move towards the positive electrode. At the same time, hydrogen, that is H plus ion, move towards the negative electrode and it will be liberated in the form of hydrogen gas. So this is how the sodium hydroxide will be obtained from the sodium chloride by the electrolysis technique. Okay, any doubt in the preparation of sodium hydroxide? Any doubt? Okay, so this is the first important compound which we prepared. Okay, so the next compound which we prepare, before that we should know some of the uses of sodium hydroxide. The sodium hydroxide, where and all will use? The sodium hydroxide is mainly used in the soap. The sodium hydroxide is a laboratory reagent which will be used. Okay, the main use of sodium hydroxide is in the soap industry. Okay, the next chemical which we prepare from the sodium chloride, using sodium chloride as a raw material, is the bleaching powder. So the bleaching powder, how we prepare a bleaching powder? Okay, so the main source for the preparation of bleaching powder is a chlorine gas. So from where we get the chlorine gas? So the chlorine gas will be obtained from the previous technique which we studied now. So during the preparation of sodium hydroxide, the chlorine gas was liberated or evolved from the anode. That chlorine gas will be used as a raw material in the preparation of bleaching powder. Okay, so how it will be prepared? So it can be prepared by the action of chlorine gas on dry slaked lime. Dry slaked lime means calcium hydroxide. Okay, so the slaked lime, that is calcium hydroxide, reacts with the chlorine and we will get the bleaching powder, which is represented as calcium oxychloride. Ca is calcium, O is oxygen, Cl is chlorine. So calcium oxychloride, but the actual structure is not only the calcium oxychloride, it will be having calcium hydroxide also, it will be having chlorine also, it will be having water molecule also. But as of now, you remember the bleaching powder as calcium oxychloride, which is called bleaching powder. So how the reaction takes place? So first we have to take a calcium hydroxide, that is a slaked lime, is then made to react with the chlorine, which is in a gaseous form. When a chlorine reacts with the calcium hydroxide, we will get calcium oxychloride called bleaching powder. Along with that, the water molecule will be liberated from the reaction mixture. This is how we prepare the bleaching powder. So the reaction of chlorine gas or action of chlorine gas on a slaked lime gives calcium oxychloride and water molecule. So this is how the bleaching powder will be used, where the sodium chloride is not directly used as a raw material, but here chlorine gas is used as a raw material. And this chlorine gas will be obtained from the preparation of sodium hydroxide, and that sodium hydroxide requires sodium chloride as a raw material. So from there, we are getting chlorine gas, which is then made to react with the slaked lime. So this is how we prepare the bleaching powder. So where and all we use the bleaching powder? So any users you know about the bleaching powder? Any users which you know about the bleaching powder?
It is used for the manufacture of chloroform.
Bleaching powder is used in the manufacturing of chloroform. Is it?
Used to clean the floors.
What? Your voice is breaking. Okay, one uses the chloroform is used in the preparation of, sorry, bleaching powder is used in the preparation of chloroform. Okay, then the common use of bleaching powder is the bleaching powder is mainly a cleansing reagent, correct? So it will be used for the cleaning purpose, correct? Other than that, any other uses which you know? Okay, we'll see some of the uses of bleaching powder. The first use of bleaching powder, so it will be used for bleaching of cotton, linen, and the textile industries, and also for a bleaching of wood pulp in a paper factories, and for a bleaching of washed clothes in laundry. So mainly the use of bleaching powder is for cleansing, okay, for cleaning the dirt, for cleaning of the cotton material. So everywhere the dust and the dirt will be removed. For that purpose, we can use the bleaching powder. The second use is it is used as an oxidizing agent in many chemical industries. You might have heard that the bleaching powder will be added to a water, correct? So sometime the municipality water which we get will be having the bleaching powder smell. So why do they add a bleaching powder? When they add a bleaching powder, the main purpose of bleaching powder is cleaning. When the water becomes dirt, the water will be dirt, or water will be like a wastewater when the oxygen content in a water will be less, or when there will be a non-degradable material which is present in a water. So for the degradation of that material, or for the decomposition of that material, we need oxygen. So that oxygen will be provided by the oxidizing agent, and a bleaching powder, the formula is calcium oxychloride, which contains a oxygen in it. So which produces nascent oxygen, that is oxygen which is written inside the square bracket, single oxygen atom. So calcium or gives the oxygen which is required for the decomposition purpose. So because of that reason, the bleaching powder is used as a oxidizing agent for cleaning of water or in the chemical industries. The third use is disinfectant. That is what? To kill the germs, to kill the non-degradable materials and all, to remove that, the bleaching powder will be used. So it will be used as an oxidizing agent, which provides oxygen for the cleansing purpose, and the water becomes free of germs. So these are all the three main use. Along with that, it is also used in the manufacturing of chloroform as a starting material for the preparation of chloroform. So these are all the 3 or 4 different uses of bleaching powder. Any doubt? Any doubt? Shall we continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The next one, the next chemical is the baking soda. So what is the formula of baking soda? What is the formula of
NaHCO3. NaHCO3.
sodium hydrogen carbonate, or it is also called as sodium bicarbonate. So sodium bicarbonate, how we can prepare the sodium bicarbonate? So the chemical name of the compound is a sodium hydrogen carbonate or a sodium bicarbonate. It is produced using sodium chloride as a raw material. So how we can prepare sodium bicarbonate from sodium chloride? So in the beginning, the sodium chloride is made to react with water molecule in the presence of carbon dioxide and ammonia. When a sodium chloride, that is aqueous sodium chloride, is made to react with the carbon dioxide and ammonia gas, what we have to do is, we need to take an aqueous sodium chloride solution. One second. Yeah, we need to take an aqueous sodium chloride solution. For that, we need to pass carbon dioxide gas and ammonia gas. And when these gases are passed through the solution of ammonium chloride, we will get sodium chloride, will get ammonium chloride as one of the product, and along with that, sodium bicarbonate will be formed as a product. Okay, so ammonium chloride and sodium bicarbonate will be formed during the reaction
Nishita?
Okay, so we prepare a baking soda. Why do we use a baking soda in our food? The main use of baking soda is in case of when we prepare the cake and all, correct? When we prepare a bun, when we prepare a cake, when we prepare a buns, during that we add a baking soda. So the baking soda, the main use of baking soda, or why we have to add baking soda, is when we heat the baking soda, the composition of baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. When we heat the baking soda, it liberates the carbon dioxide gas. So, or the carbon dioxide gas which will be liberated is responsible for the puffiness of the food. Okay, so when the food which we prepare contains sodium bicarbonate, and when we heat the sodium bicarbonate undergoes dissociation or a splitting, and it produces sodium carbonate, water, and carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide is responsible for the softness of the food which contains baking soda. So the main use of baking soda is in case of cooking industry or in case of food. Okay, any doubt? Any doubt in the preparation of sodium bicarbonate or a baking soda? Okay, so then we'll move to the next topic. So the next is the washing soda. So how we prepare washing soda? Before that, what is the composition of washing soda? The composition of washing soda is sodium carbonate decahydrate. Deca means 10, hydrate means water molecule. So sodium carbonate contains 10 water molecule along with it. Okay, that composition is called washing soda. So this sodium carbonate is obtained from the baking soda. Now, just now we have seen that when a baking soda will be heated, we will get sodium carbonate. Okay, and this sodium carbonate, when we do the recrystallization means when we heat the material, it will be converted to either a liquid state or to a gaseous state. From that gaseous state or a liquid state, we are converting it into a solid state. Crystallization means converting from liquid to solid. So from liquid state, we are converting it into a solid state. That process is called as recrystallization, and it gives a washing soda which is basic in nature. So first, we are obtaining sodium carbonate. That sodium carbonate will be obtained from the sodium bicarbonate by heating, and that sodium carbonate is then made to react with 10 molecules of water. That is, during the recrystallization, that is converting liquid form of sodium carbonate into a solid form, during which it adsorbs or it will take up 10 molecules of water along with it and becomes washing soda. So this is how we prepare the washing soda from baking powder. So baking powder will get sodium carbonate. From the sodium carbonate, we are obtaining sodium carbonate decahydrate, and sodium carbonate decahydrate is called as washing soda. And this sodium carbonate, that is a raw material used for the preparation of washing powder, and the sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate means it is a baking powder, are very useful chemicals in the industrial process. So what are all the uses of washing soda? The first use of washing soda, it is used in glass, soap, and paper industries. Okay, the main use of sodium carbonate, not sodium carbonate, that is sodium carbonate decahydrate called washing soda. Okay, the washing soda is used in glass industries, soap industries, and in paper industry. The next application or the next use is it is used in the manufacturing of sodium compounds such as borax. Borax is actually a material which contains boron in it. Okay, and this borax will be used as a laboratory glass vessels. If you have seen some of the conical flask or maybe the funnel or maybe the beaker and all, in that it will be written as borax. Borax means it is not breakable very easily, like it is like little bit heat resistant and all. We can heat that material, that glass material, because it is little bit stable or it is not so delicate. Okay, so such glasses will be used in a laboratory. That glass will be used, the preparation of borax will uses the washing soda, that is sodium carbonate decahydrate combines with the boron and it produces borax glasses, which are little bit heat resistant in nature. Okay, the next is the washing soda can also be used as a cleansing agent for the domestic purpose. We all know that for a domestic purpose, which means for our daily use, we use the washing soda as a detergent. Okay, the next one is it is used to remove the permanent hardness of the water. What do you mean by hardness of water? So when we say water, there are two types of water, correct? One is soft water and one more is hard water. Have you heard about this? Soft water and hard water?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. What is that soft water? What is that hard water? Any idea? How we can define soft water and hard water? What is the difference between them?
Hard water contains calcium and magnesium salts.
Hard water contains calcium and magnesium salt. Okay. What happens if there is a calcium and magnesium salt in that?
Hard water
The
is a water that contains dissolved minerals.
Okay, like yeah, minerals of calcium and magnesium. The calcium salt and magnesium salt will be there in a hard water. So hard water, why we need to remove the, yeah.
Water containing less dissolved minerals is soft water.
Yeah, why we have to remove the hardness of the water? Why we need to remove the hardness? The main reason is soft water produces foam with the soap. Okay, foam means bubbles. Okay, when we use the water for a washing purpose, we use the soap along with the water. Why do we use a soap? The soap will be used as for the cleaning of dirt which is present. So during that cleansing process, if there is no foam formation or a bubble formation takes place, then the soap will not work in such water, because instead of producing the bubble, it will combine with the calcium and magnesium ion present in a hard water, and it will settle down in the form of salt in water. So it will not stick into the cloth. If the soap is not stick into the cloth, the dirt cannot be removed. That is why the hard water has to be converted into soft water. Okay, whereas a soft water which produces foam upon mixing with the soap, it will stick into the cloth directly and we can remove the dirt from it. So in order to use the water for a cleansing of cloth or for a cleaning purpose, the soap must not combine with the, or a soap must not form any salt with the water. So if there is a presence of calcium and magnesium ion in the water, the added soap combines with the calcium ion and a magnesium ion, and it will form a precipitate in the bottom, or it will form a salt which settles at the bottom. So in order to avoid that, first what we have to do is we have to convert the hard water into soft water. The hardness of water can be removed by removing the calcium ion and magnesium ion from the water. So in order to remove that calcium and magnesium ion from water, we will add sodium carbonate. When a sodium carbonate is added to water, the calcium ion which is present in a hard water replaces the sodium ion from the washing soda, and it becomes calcium carbonate, and it will settle down at the bottom. Similarly, magnesium will replace the sodium to become magnesium carbonate. That will be the salt which will settle down at the bottom. Once that calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonates are settled down at the bottom, we can remove the water which is free from calcium and magnesium by the filtration technique. Because when we do the filtration, the calcium and magnesium salts will be precipitated, or it will be present above the filtrate, whereas the water molecule will be separated in the bottom of the filtrate which we use. So that is how we can remove the permanent hardness of the water, which is very important when we use the soap for the cleansing purpose. So this is regarding the preparation of washing soda and uses of washing soda. Any doubts or any clarification required? Anything you want to ask? Any doubts? Shall we move? Okay. The next topic is the last topic of this chapter, that is preparation of plaster of Paris. Have you heard the term plaster of Paris? Have you heard the term plaster of Paris? Anywhere? Where do we use the plaster of Paris? Yeah, fracture. In case of
hospitals.
Yeah, in hospitals it will be used. Correct? Okay, so how we can prepare the plaster of Paris? The plaster of Paris can be obtained from gypsum. What is gypsum? What is gypsum? What is gypsum? Heard the term gypsum? Gypsum, where do we use gypsum? Where do we use gypsum? Do we use gypsum in cement? In case of cement, we use gypsum. Yeah, gypsum will be used as a fertilizer. Yes, it's correct. And gypsum is mainly used in case of cement. Why we use in cement is, in order, when we, without gypsum, the cement will be very hard. Okay, in order to retard that hardness, or in order to control the rate of hardening of cement, the gypsum will be generally added to the cement. Okay, gypsum means calcium sulfate dihydrate. What is the formula of calcium sulfate? What is the formula of calcium sulfate? Calcium, how we represent calcium? How do we represent calcium? Hello. Ca is calcium, sulfate is SO4. So calcium sulfate is CaSO4 dihydrate. Dihydrate means there will be two water molecules. So we are taking a gypsum and we are heating the gypsum to a temperature of 373 Kelvin. When we heat the gypsum to a 373 Kelvin, what is a boiling point of water? What is the boiling point of water?
100 degrees Celsius.
100 degrees Celsius. In terms of Kelvin? Zero degrees Celsius means how much Kelvin? Do you know the conversion of degree Celsius to Kelvin? (100°C). 0°C means 273 Kelvin. So 100°C is 373 Kelvin. So we are heating the gypsum at 373 Kelvin. When we heat it, the water molecule will be lost from the molecule, which means the water molecule will be evaporated from the gypsum molecule, and we will end up with the calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Hemi means half, hydrate means water. Calcium sulfate hemihydrate will be formed. This calcium sulfate hemihydrate is called plaster of Paris. From gypsum, we are preparing the plaster of Paris by heating purpose or by heating process. Okay, so we'll see the reaction. Okay, the substance which doctors use as a plaster for supporting a fractured bones in a right position. So in order to keep the fractured bone in a right position as a supporting substance, the plaster of Paris will be used by the doctors. So plaster of Paris is also used. Before that, we'll see the reaction. That calcium sulfate, okay, it is a reverse reaction. Okay, so actually how we prepare, the calcium sulfate will be taken in a reactant side and that we are heating to a temperature of 373 Kelvin. When we heat it will convert it into plaster of Paris plus 1.5 molecules of water will be liberated. Okay, so and this will be used in the by the doctors for supporting the fractured bone in the right position. And plaster of Paris is a white powder. On mixing with water, it changes into gypsum again, giving a hard solid mass. So conversion of gypsum to plaster of Paris and plaster of Paris to gypsum is, one is by heating the gypsum, we will get plaster of Paris. By adding water into the plaster of Paris, we will get the gypsum. Okay, so this is how we prepare the plaster of Paris, and this is the use of plaster of Paris. The main use is in case of hospitals for the support of fractured bones. Okay, so this is about the preparation of plaster of Paris from the gypsum and the uses. Any doubt? Any doubt in anything which I told today? Understood? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
What
So
about
you
others?
have-
Did you understand? What about others?
Yes.
Okay. I need all the replies on the chat box. Come on, fast.
Yes, they are sending a direct message to me.
Okay, fine. Great.
Okay. Okay, no doubts, right? So just go through it once. So if you have the textbook with you or any materials with you,
I'll send.
okay. So just go through it once, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay.